Good morning and welcome to our webcast. I'm Wendy Finch. I'm the marketing director here at PPI Group, and we're excited to be able to bring you a new webcast from our partners from Bluebeam. So we'll get started with that here in just a moment, and we'll do some introductions and get the folks from Bluebeam on here and show you some really cool stuff. So a couple of things that I want to mention is on your menu bar, on your menu bar, there is a chat box. So during the presentation, if you have any questions, please feel free to type those in. We've went ahead and muted all attendees just so that it doesn't get too crazy with background noise. And so feel free to please enter those questions in there. I'll be sharing them with our presenter throughout the webcast, and then we'll make sure at the end that we've addressed all questions and any last-minute issues. Before we get started, I just want to remind everybody here at the PPI Group that our newest catalog is out. So it's our training catalog, and it'll be hitting your mailboxes here shortly. So watch for that. If you don't get it, please shout out to me, and I'll make sure that we get you one. And at the very end of the webcast will be all of our contact information as well. So without any further delays, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Mark Opsel. He's a channel sales specialist with Bluebeam, and he's going to talk to us today about digitizing your workflows with Bluebeam. So I'm going to do a little quick click of the mouse here and turn things over to Mark, if I can do that while I'm talking. There we go. Mark, are you there? I probably have to unmute you. One moment. Little technical difficulty here.
Hi, Wendy. Can you hear me?
There we go. You're live and with us now, Mark.
Right. Fantastic. Thanks so much. Thanks for joining us, everyone. My name is Mark Opsel. Like Wendy said, I'm a channel sales specialist here at Bluebeam Software. You should be able to see my screen now. Wendy, can you see my screen all right?
It looks like you're coming through good.
Great. Fantastic. All right. So it's a little bit cold in this room where I am today, so excuse me if you hear me shiver a little bit through my words. Basically, I'm just going to go over some new features in Review 12, kind of go over a really quick overview at first, too, just to kind of bring everyone up to speed and make sure we're all on the same page. Throughout the course of the webinar, if you have any questions, feel free to type those in, and Wendy will pass those along to myself and my colleague Steve, who's also in the room here. So without further ado, let's get started. Well, let me go ahead and close this window out here too so we can feel a little bit better. So to start, I'll share a little bit about Bluebeam. For more than a decade, we've been developing innovative software solutions that enable professionals to collaborate digitally, with our goal being that we want to help our customers do what they do better. So as a company, we continue to play a central role in AEC, oil and gas, and other technical industries. Bluebeam Revu has really become the industry standard as we focus on providing smart, simple solutions that facilitate digital workflows such as design reviews, bids and estimates, RFIs, submittals, field inspections, site management, punch, closeout, and more. So now with each release we typically have a theme, and this year the theme is Field Ready Anywhere, Anytime. In Review 12 we're introducing a lot of really cool new features such as the ones on the screen. SketchUp Pro plugin, SketchUp Pro 2013 users can now export any model to a 3D PDF and view and manipulate that model right within their review interface. With Review 12, we introduced AutoMark, which allows you to automatically generate page labels and bookmarks from a region on your sheets. Now with Review 12, you can create page labels and bookmarks from multiple regions in a PDF and also add text such as prefixes, suffixes, and symbols. In Review 11, we also introduced sets, which allows you to view and navigate individual PDF sets as if they're a single document in a single tab. Sets 2.0, however, adds enhanced navigation capabilities along with compatibility with Studio projects. Batch link, one of my favorite new features. Batch link automates the process of creating complex navigational hyperlinks for your plan set. There have been a lot of great measurement tool enhancements, such as being able to calculate length, area, volume, and wall area in a single measurement. And you can also calibrate for both horizontal and vertical scales. A Smart Group allows you to view each element in a group within the markups list and make edits without having to ungroup. Also, subtotals will automatically calculate for measurement annotations. And then Capture. Capture allows you the ability to embed a photo gallery into any markup. So you can also scroll through those images, add, delete, and export them. Basically allows you to add a lot of great visual information into your documents without taking up a lot of space. Here are some other features that I'm not really going to get into unless we have some extra time, but I wanted to mention them. Studio enhancements, there have been a variety of, sorry, one second, I was having a technical issue there. There have been a variety of Studio enhancements, such as Studio Sessions administrators can now grant full control to trusted attendees, something we were asked about and requested, and it was provided. You can also now browse files stored in Studio projects through Revu's document management toolbar, which is kind of nice as well. So I'll show you that toolbar in a second here. PDF forms containing static XFA technology can now be viewed, filled out, and saved within Revu. The reduced file size feature has been revamped and improved, along with being provided with a new user interface that's a lot more simplified. OCR Plus and Revu Extreme now offers significant performance improvements for large format drawings specifically. And we didn't forget about headers and footers either. In Revu 12, headers and footers settings are now saved with your document, allowing for easier editing and updating as revisions and new pages are added. So without further ado, let's go into the demo. So I'm going to go and press Escape. And as you can see, I was in Revu the entire time. What I did was I used the plugins for Microsoft PowerPoint to create a PowerPoint presentation and then convert it with one click into a PDF and then present that PDF presentation from within Revu in presentation mode. So this is what's called the simple interface, very straightforward, pretty sleek, a lot of screen real estate. However, Revu comes with a variety of built-in profiles. So if we click on this Profiles button here, we have construction, design review, oil and gas, etc. These are all fully customizable and savable. So if you do have a particular profile that you like and want to deploy across the team, you can definitely export that profile and standardize across teams. So I'm going to go into the construction profile just because that one's the one I use the most often. As you can see, a variety of different icons popped up. I use a lot of icons in my day-to-day, so I like having them right here. These can be further customized. Like I said, I can move this up here if I want. I like it on the side, though, so I'm going to move it back there. Had a lot of coffee today, so I'm a little jittery. Can't quite get that to stay there. That's my fault. User error. So then we can customize all of these here. We can also right-click. Right-click is kind of your best friend in Revu. It brings up the context menu. Excuse me. So we can go ahead and add a particular area. So like I said, this is the document management toolbar. We can access Studio projects right from here now with Revu 12. We can also add advanced text features, things like that. And then I can save this and, like I said before, export this to my colleagues if I so choose. I'm going to remove that there and remove these. So we also have these side panels over here on the side. So right here, these house the powerful editing and markup features within Bluebeam Revu. Just the markups list down here, and then on the left we have the another panel with those markup and editing features. This is, however, called File Access. File Access is essentially like a favorites in Revu. It's going to let you save or pin, excuse me, the files that you use on a regular basis along with the origin folders within Revu. So with one click, I can go ahead and open up these two revisions here, and I'll open up this 8.5 by 11 just to show you that that's filled in here too. Now, the neat thing about Revu is that it has what's called intelligent navigation. So Revu is going to optimize your navigation of the documents based on their size. As you can see down here, this is an 8.5 by 11 document. So it's going to let me use the scroll wheel to go up and down, click up and down, because this is how people typically consume data within an 8.5 by 11 document. However, if we go over to this large format document, as you can see, it's 42 by 30 inches down here. Now we can click and drag. We can use the scroll bar to go in and out and move around this document very easily. If you've used AutoCAD or Revit in 2D form or 2D mode, you're very familiar with this kind of navigation. So our users typically like to look at multiple screens or documents at the same time. Totally understandable, and we know that. So we developed a split screen. So we can go down here, click split screen, and now we can look at a revision of this document along with the original right over here. So if we're going through and looking at changes, for example, from revision to revision, we can do this side by side and scroll through and compare these different documents like that. That's already much easier than paper processes, very much so. But rather than clicking over each time, what we can do is we can click sync down here. And what sync's going to do is it's going to sync up the pixel coordinates of these documents. So every time I move this document on the left, this document on the right is going to change, or not change, excuse me, follow and match up the same pixel coordinates. So we can do this with either document. It's going to match up just fine. So sync is great for finding those changes between two revisions or multiple revisions. That's fantastic. But it's still not the fastest way to do it. What we allow you to do is use document comparison. Document comparison, that's going to compare the two documents that I select here, and it's going to cloud all the different changes on a pixel-by-pixel basis of these documents. So I'm going to click OK, and now Revu's going to run through, compare those pixels, and open up a third document based on the second compared document that clouds all of the different changes. So right here, as you can see, we have a new prep dish station. This is the original here. This is that third document that opened. This wall has been moved about 10 feet west. And then down here, as you can see, this date and time has been changed as well. Like I said, it's on a pixel-by-pixel basis, so each pixel is compared, and Revu's going to find the differences straight away with those. Huge time saver, really, really useful. So that's kind of the interface in a nutshell. I just wanted to go over that really quick. The next thing I want to show you is I'm going to go ahead and close out for this document. I'm going to close out this revision too. I'm not going to save that. Now we'll go over some markups. So there are three different ways to drop markups into a document in Revu. We want to enhance the way you work. We don't want to redefine it. So what we can do is we can go up here to markup. You click text box. I'll go ahead and add this text box in here, add text box. And as you can see, I misspelled text, but Revu has a built-in spell check, so we can go ahead and right-click, change that to text right there. Another great way to add markups to a page is to click on the icon right here. So I'll just click on this line icon. That's the freeform. Excuse me, I can go ahead and make lines all over the place. If we want to do a straight line, we can just click Shift. We can go ahead and do that right there. Very straightforward. Also have a pen tool. We can use that completely freeform, and that will also give us straight lines if we click Shift. Now, the third way to drop a markup on a page is with hotkeys. Hotkeys is probably my favorite way. So what I'm going to do is, rather than selecting the highlighter icon right here, as you can see, there's an H next to the word highlight. I'm just going to click H. That is the hotkey designation. Go to meaning it's telling me all sorts of things. So I'm going to use the highlighter. It's a freeform highlighter. We can still do those straight lines by clicking Shift. And the highlighter is also what's called an intelligent markup tool. So it will recognize text on a document and go ahead and highlight that for you. So you don't have to do any kind of detail work to highlight specific annotations on documents that you need to. A classic workflow example of using these markups is the cloud mullion spec example. If you've ever been to a Revu demo before, you might have seen this. So I'm going to click C for cloud, the ubiquitous cloud. I'm going to cloud this mullion detail right here, and I'm going to click Q. Now Q is for callout, and Q is for callout. Sorry, my keyboard button's stuck here. There we go. All right, I'm going to click Q for callout. And the callouts are also what's considered a intelligent markup tool, because that box is going to follow that leader line wherever it goes. So I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to say Revu mullion detail. Great. So historically, mullion details in this particular example, or any kind of reference materials that people need to refer to, are either linked to on another page in an entirely different document, or somewhere else. The review allows you to drop that image right into the document. It'll save folks who are doing this kind of revision review a lot of time and really make sure that that workflow loop is closed as quickly as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and click I for image, and that's going to allow me to open up my image folder and drop an image right in there. So rather than looking around for that mullion detail, the subcontractor or whoever is taking this note can see it right there. Now, one of the neat things about Review 12 I mentioned, or new features, is Capture. And Capture is going to take any markup and allow us to associate a visual library or an image library with that particular markup. So if we right-click on this Review Mullion Detail column, we can go ahead and right-click on that, go to Capture. We can take pictures from the camera, or we can add them from a file. I'm just going to add them from a file right now to show you that. And from here, we can select as many images as we like. Go ahead and open that. And Review's going to open up this little thumbnail here. So if you have a lot of visual information that you want to add to a document, but you don't want to clutter up a lot of space, you get this little thumbnail here. And now we can go through and look at this entire image library. So great way to add a lot of information quickly. We can also use the camera to add goofy looking pictures. So now a lot of visual information there, and that's available in Review 12. Kind of a new feature. We can also delete pictures there randomly if we so choose. So we also allow for stamps with dynamic text. So this date and time stamp, we can go ahead and put that right there. We can rotate that with that node. We can also do lots of fun things like, just go to meeting panel is in my way there. We can make unique shapes. Go ahead and do that. These yellow nodes will let us move that around. These blue nodes will resize it. This orange node, like I showed you on the stamp, will rotate that around. So a lot of really neat features that we can work with within Review. So those are the markups. Steve, do you have any questions before we move on? To turn it off? Well, there's not really a way to turn it off, but you don't necessarily need to use it. If you so choose not to. So if we go over here, I'm not sure. You know, honestly, I've never been asked that before. That's an interesting question. Steve, do you know if it's possible to turn that off? I'm not aware. Great. Yeah, we'll email Wendy about that and see if we can go ahead and do that. Oh, I was just informed that you couldn't hear Steve there. So yeah, we're going to check on that. I've never tried to turn that off before, but I'll get an answer for you and I'll email Wendy with that when I find out the answer, which will be pretty soon. So great. Any other questions, Steve? Okay, great. So I'm going to move on to the tool chest now. So as you can see here, we have a variety of different markups. These are on that standard default red. But if I want to change the properties of this, let's say this callout, for example, we can do that a couple different ways. We can go up to this bar right up here and change the text to blue right there. But I like to right-click and go into the Properties panel. That's another one of the side panels that house those editing and markup features. So from here, we can change the coloration of that. We can change the line width so you can actually see that box there. You can give it an interesting fill color. You can make that opacity a little lower so you can see that better. Even make it bold. You can do all sorts of fun stuff with that. So now that we've changed the properties of that particular markup, I don't want to just necessarily change the properties of every callout that I make. So we're going to go over to the tool chest. So tool chest, this tool chest icon right there. And as you can see in the recent tools, all of the things, all the different markups that I just made are stored in that recent tools. The recent tools is kind of like a cache in your internet browser. It's going to temporarily save all of the different tools that we use and all the different markups we make, but those will disappear as soon as we close out Review. But that's no problem. They can easily be clicked and dragged into a particular tool set and saved. Once it's dragged into any other tool set, that'll be saved forever. So if we click on recent tools, we can take this exact same call out, but I'm not necessarily going to be talking about reviewing mullion details every time I make a call out. So I'm going to double click this, this particular markup here, and that's going to change it to properties mode. So now we can use the same exact properties to write whatever kind of call out we need. Great. So like I said, those can be click and dragged into any different tool set that you like. They can also be easily deleted. Tool sets can be completely customized as well. So if you have a variety of different custom markups that you've created, or you have some tools that you've imported that you want to standardize across your team, they can easily be exported by clicking export, email to another colleague as a file. Double click that file, it'll load directly into Revu, and you can easily standardize across teams. So another really cool thing about the tool chest is a feature called snapshot. So if I click G, which is the hotkey for snapshot, that's going to let me take a snapshot of this particular image right here. So once I click paste, as you can see, that's right here in my recent tools. Because I pasted it, that's become a markup that I use. So now we can use that particular markup to go ahead and play a trick on our contractor and say, hey, we want to throw this in every classroom. What you can do is you can also click and drag this into any tool set that you like and save that for future use. So the tool chest is a great way to eliminate redundant work, save custom tool sets and tools that you've created, and also make it so that you don't have to re-edit markups if you're using the same kind of markup all the time. So any questions, Steve, about the tool chest before I move on?
Yes, we did get a question. When you're doing arrow markups or callouts, how do you adjust the size of that arrow in your line to make it a little larger or smaller?
Great question. So I'll go ahead and click on this arrow icon here. The hotkey is letter A for arrow. So we have an arrow right here. Pretty straightforward. What we're going to do is we're going to do that same properties tool as we did before. And now we can go ahead and change the line width of that. We can change the colors right here. We can go ahead and even change the style of that arrow, so it'll be dotted like that. We can change the fill color to green. So we can even change the ends as well. So that end can be a sort of diamond if we want. We can also change the start to an arrow. So we can do all kinds of interesting things with arrows. So arrows are very versatile in Revu. Any other questions, Steve?
Nope, that's it.
Great. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and close up these side panels here. As you can see, we just dropped a bunch of markups on the page, edited some of those markups. This takes, as you probably know if you've used other PDF software, it took about a tenth of the time as it would to do all of this in another PDF software. So the markups list. So the markups list down here is basically going to track all the metadata for every markup that you've made. So it's kind of like having Excel plus within Revu, specifically oriented to what you're doing. So you can go ahead and sort. You can also filter. So if I just want to see that arrow, for example, everything will gray out except that arrow. One of the neat things about the markups list that I find useful because I get confused easily is if I click on callout, it'll take me right to that particular callout on the page. So rather than having to search through and look for something, if you have a lot of markups on a page, you can get directly to the markup that you're looking for. You can also create custom columns. These columns can easily be removed and added by clicking them on and off right here. Like I said, custom columns can be created. So if we want to create a custom column, it's really easy. We can create what we call a task list if we want to assign different markups to different people who are working on the project. So I'll put myself in there. I'll put Steve in there. I'll put Wendy in there. Click OK. And now as you can see, this task list column has appeared. We can go ahead and double click and assign that to whoever we like. One of the other really neat things about the markups list is if we have this particular document sent out to multiple people, multiple consultants, say a plumbing consultant, an electrical consultant, and a mechanical consultant, what we can do is we can send this document out to them. They can mark up this document. So they'll mark it up, send it back to me, and Review will allow me to import their markups onto the same document. So if we click Import right here, I'm going to go ahead and find those comments that they've created. And Review is going to scrape their markups off that document as their own layer and drop them right into the document that I'm viewing. So these markups are situated based on the pixel coordinates of that document, so they're going to match right up. So right here, as we can see, this markup here signifies, roof drains needed, need to confirm chase size for duct clearance, etc. So if we go down to the markups list, we can go ahead and sort specifically for electrical markups, for example. We can go ahead and assign all of those to Wendy if we like. And then from there, if we want to create a summary, we can go ahead and create a PDF summary. I'll show you this thumbnails window right here. As you can see, it's one page. But if we want to take a PDF summary and add that to the PDF so that if we send this document to Wendy, she'll have specifically what tasks she'll need to accomplish. And click PDF summary. I'll go ahead and append the current PDF. Right there, I'll click OK. And now the PDF summary is going to be generated for everything that is in the markups list. Now, if I just wanted to see particular tasks that are assigned to Wendy only, we can filter for Wendy's comments or Wendy's tasks. I'm going to go ahead and delete that entire PDF summary. Do that one more time just so you can see how it can be filtered specifically for one person. So now we just have these 3 tasks that we filtered for here. As you can see, it's been appended to the current PDF. And if we go through here, it'll give us all that data about each markup, what the subject is, the page on which it is, who made it, etc., and a picture of the markup. So even if Wendy can't find the markup above, that's no problem. We added hyperlinks. So if we click on this markup, that'll take us right to the markup in question that she needs to address. So the markups list is a great way to work with the markups within your document. It can also be used to do counts, estimation, takeoff, all kinds of fun stuff like that. So any questions about the markups list? Okay, great. So really quickly, we're going to go through Studio, and then we're going to get into those new features of Review. Like I said, I just want to make sure everyone's on the same page regarding this. So I'm going to go ahead and close out this document right there. Close out that. I'm even going to close out that PowerPoint document here. So Studio can be found right up here in the side panel or right up here in the navigation bar. It's always there because collaboration, like I said, is the theme of this release. It's a huge priority for us. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the Studio session. The Studio sessions allow for that real-time cloud-based collaboration that you may have heard of in Review. Up to 500 users can collaborate on the same document. So in here, it looks like Steve wrote a little something there. These markups I've created in the past, so I can make this into a question if I like, etc. I'll go ahead and use these feet right here to follow around Steve. So Steve has some particular items that he wants to show me on the document. I can follow him around and I'm going to follow his cursor. It looks like the lag is kind of slowing us down here. The GoToMeeting tends to do that. So let's see here. You're in 180, 848, 759. All right. Like the GoToMeeting lag has stalled my computer. So let me go ahead and fix that really quickly. So I'm just going to go ahead and I can't, my computer is completely stalled out. That is not Revu's fault. That is my computer being low on memory's fault. So in between the GoToMeeting and everything else. Okay, here we go. So I'll be right back here. All right. So if we go into this demo session here, Wendy, can you see my screen okay? You can see it? Okay, great. So I'll go ahead back into this document here. And as I was saying before, I can change my markups that I made earlier. I made some markups earlier with my colleague Angela. But if I go to change her markups, Revu won't let me do that because there's someone else's markups. That's for optimal accountability, so or absolute accountability. So these gray nodes indicate I can't do anything with this particular markup. We can, however, continue to cloud particular areas and make comments however we like, and do whatever we like there. All of these particular markups are saved in the markups list down here. So we can filter those, create PDF summaries just like we would in anything else. Right over here, we have a running record of all the markups that are made, all the documents that have been added or deleted, and everyone who's entered and left this session. We can add up to 100 documents of 100 megabytes each into each session. The amount of sessions you can have is unlimited, and that's really studio sessions. You can go ahead and filter this area. Reports can also be done of studio sessions. So if we click over here, I'll click PDF package report. I'll go ahead and save that to the desktop. And now all the documents that I worked with are right here for me, so we can review on those, or review those. And then here's the running report of all the different markups that were made throughout this studio session. Studio sessions are great for review sessions, punch lists, all sorts of different things that you might collaborate on. What's nice is if you do have a particular markup that you have a question about, you can click on it, and it'll open up the document where that markup was made and take you directly to that markup. We can watch as someone makes changes in real time. So I'm going to go ahead and try that one more time. Like I said before, the lag between GoToMeeting and our network seemed to cause an issue last time. But let me go ahead and, there we go. So I guess it was just a temporary thing. So now I'm following Steve, and as you can see that little crosshair cursor right there, Steve's moving around the screen. And like I said before, if we want to follow Steve and Steve wants to show us something in the particular document, we can watch his cursor and see what he wants to do, what markups he's making, and he can basically walk us through whatever he wants to. We can do this with any user within the session. And like I said, up to 500 users can be into a document doing this at the same time. So if one person needs to show an entire committee or an entire team some different markups or some different things to do with the document, they can go ahead and do that very easily. So that's Studio Sessions. Do we have any other questions?
Okay. We got a question about using 3D PDFs in Studio. Will 3D PDFs work in Studio? And if so, do we have any examples already uploaded that we could show?
We don't have any examples already uploaded, but 3D PDFs will work in Bluebeam Studio. What I can do is I can go ahead and click this plus right here, and I'll click on Demo Folder. I'll click 3D Files. I'll open up 3D PDFs, Sample Project House, open up that right there. And now this Sample Project House 3D PDF is going to load right into my studio session. So on the fly, now that's in my list of documents that we can look at and edit in real time. So I'll go ahead and double click that document right there. All right, that doesn't normally happen. Having bad computer luck today. All right, so I went ahead and clicked on that there. So now we can see this 3D PDF right here. So if we go through, we can go ahead and make any changes we like on these. We can zoom in and we can cloud a particular area. So I'll say cloud that. This railing continue. And then once we click escape there, that's going to save that view as a blue markup indicator. So regardless of what view we're in, we can go ahead and click on that. It's going to bring us right back to that view with that call out. Steve can also make markups on this. So he can go through, annotate this however he likes, add any comments that he wants. We can follow him through this just like we would in a 2D document and all that good stuff. So yes, 3D PDFs are available in Studio Sessions. Studio Projects is our essentially document management system. So you can store unlimited files of unlimited file type in Studio Projects that you can immediately push into a Studio Session if you need to. It's a great way to share documents with multiple team members and colleagues across the board on different projects. So I just wanted to mention that before we move on. And someone else makes a change to the same item, which takes precedence. Great question. So if someone makes a change in Studio Sessions, say they add a markup to a particular area, their markups cannot be altered. So you can add an additional markup, you can comment on that markup, but because no one in a Studio Session can alter anyone else's markup, nothing's going to be overwritten. If a particular I'm trying to think how to say this.
Yeah, so basically it's all done on the same document in real time. So
can you mute your speakers real quick? Yeah, I can chime in there. So in Studio Sessions, the real-time version of Studio, you're not going to be able to make any changes to other markups that folks make. So for example, if you want to collaborate on a document with somebody and you want them to be able to assign different statuses to your markups, whether they've been completed or not, that's not something you can do in Sessions because Sessions is designed to limit you to only modifying your own markups. However, if you're looking to do something like that where other users can modify or adjust your markups, you can do that in Projects. Projects is the sort of the other way of working within Studio, which is not real time. It's more of a check out, check back in model, sort of like SharePoint Lite. It's like a lightweight document management system. So in that particular scenario, only one person can have the document checked out at once. Essentially, they would check out the document, set the statuses, or make the changes to the markups, whatever they need to do, and then check it back in. So kind of short answer to the question, you can modify other people's markups, just not in Sessions. You need to do it in Projects.
Great. Okay, so that's really Studio. I noticed a couple more questions, Steve. If you could go ahead and answer those. As they come in, that'd be great. I really want to get to these new features, though, because I know that's why we're there, or here. So what I'm going to show you next is the SketchUp Pro plugin. So the SketchUp Pro plugin is pretty cool. Basically, we were asked about this by multiple users, so we went ahead and wanted to give it to you. So right here, I'm just going to open up a SketchUp Pro file. This is the Pasadena City Hall. As you may know, our Bluebeam headquarters is in Pasadena, so the City Hall is a beautiful building. What we can do is, because of the SketchUp Pro plugin, we can go over to Export 3D Model right here. Now we'll click Bluebeam PDF, set that right there. I'll go ahead and replace that because I've done this earlier today. So it's going to export that as a 3D PDF, and now in Review, we're going to see that pop up right here, And as you can see, we have that entire 3D model. Now, not only do we have a 3D PDF right here, which is really nice, but we also have all of the 3D PDF elements. So if we go ahead and click on the side panel here, we can right-click. Again, right-click's your best friend, brings up that context menu. You can open up a 3D model tree. And 3D model tree is going to open up all the different aspects of this model that we want. So it not only brings over the model itself, but it brings over all of the different items within the model. So if we want to go ahead and turn off these different trees, for example, we can also do classic markups. So if we go over here to this dome, for example, I can click C. I'll cloud that and do that call out again and say paint the dome gold with pink stripes. So we can go ahead and add different markups, things like that. That panel indicator is going, or that markup indicator is going to be there as well. So the SketchUp Pro plugin, really useful for looking at 3D models within Revu. Great. So that's the SketchUp Pro plugin. Pretty straightforward. You can do anything that you would with a 3D PDF right in there with the SketchUp Pro plugin. So what I'm going to show you now is AutoMark 2.0. So I'm going to open up this combined set right here. And as you can see in the thumbnails tab, all of these different pages have different page names. Obviously, for the sake of continuity, that's not the best. So we want to get everything on the same page. So in Revu 11, we introduced AutoMark 1.0, like I said. So that allows you to take a page region and name all of those different pages based on that particular page region, which is fantastic, save a lot of time for a lot of people. But now with AutoMark 2.0, you can take multiple page regions. So I'm going to click Add. I'm going to take this drawing title as well. So you can take that. We can also add suffixes now. So this is a VCPC project. Click OK. I'll click OK there. And now Revu is going to generate these page labels based on the two regions and the suffix that I created. So as you can see here, we have a variety of different page labels, which is really cool. So one thing we can also do with this, with sets, we can go ahead and take all of these different, excuse me, all these different pages and extract them as individual pages, as individual files, excuse me. So I'm going to go and click on that there. I'm going to go ahead and put that right into an extracted pages folder right there. And now all those pages are going to be extracted right there. So if I go ahead and open that up, I'll click Open. And I'll click on all these pages. You can see these are all opened up right here. And those have all been extracted as individual files. So if I want to view those individual files as a particular set, I'll go ahead and go into Sets right here. I'll add files to a set. So I'll go in here. And now if we want to view all of these individual files as a particular set, as one set together, we can click Open. And now it's all as one set right there. So you can click on this and scroll through. We can use the up and down arrows to scroll through these documents and just go straight through. So sets, you can do some really cool things with and view all those documents as one document set. Another neat thing you can do is interesting aspects with revisions. So I'll go ahead in here and click on that page label. I'll click Advanced, Time, Number. And you'll see what this does in a second. I'm going to cross out previous edition and stack new revisions. So I'll click on that there. I'll make that a property. And now if we go ahead and add pages from another revisions of the same document set. I'll go and add that. And as you can see right down here, you click over here and the old revision has been crossed out and stacked, and the new revision has been stacked on top of it. So great way to sustain or maintain, excuse me, version control and really keep a good track of your different versions. So that's Sets 2.0. I'm going through these pretty quickly just because I want to make sure to show you all these different features. The next feature I want to show you is batch link. But Steve, do we have any questions that I need to show?
Don't see any ones I haven't addressed in the chat. Excuse me, the chat window, so I think we're okay.
Great, thanks so much. All right, so with batch link, now like I said, batch link is one of my favorite new features because it saves a ton of time. So historically, whenever you had references in this sheet, you know, right here I have reference 300, A300 right there, you'd have to individually link all of these different references manually. But now with batch link, what we can do is we can click on File, Batch, Link, New. I'm going to link up this new document right here. So we're going to select, well, first we're going to do link options just to make sure these highlights or these hyperlinks are highlighted. So I'm going to make that highlighted light blue so they're very easy to see. I'm going to select a page region to take these links from. Right there. I'm just going to do that one page region for now, but you can add multiple regions if you want. I'll click OK. I'm going to generate those. Go ahead and actually, you know what, I'm going to do that with a new, with the combined set before. So I did not create a, that was a set earlier, so I just want to take it with one entire document. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing. Batch link, click new, add new file, click next, select that page region. Going to click OK. Going to generate those links right there. So now links have been created for every reference from that particular page region. So I'm going to click Run. All right, and 132 hyperlinks have been created automatically. 11 hyperlinks were deleted because they were old hyperlinks that were overwritten. And I'm going to go ahead and finish and close. Now, as you can see, all of these are linked up. A000 is not linked because this is page A000. It took me a while to figure that out, so I wanted to mention that off the bat. So if we go ahead and click on A201, that's going to bring us right over here to A201. As you can see, all those links are light blue right there, so those have all been linked up. We click A300. From there, we can go to a reference in A700 very easily. So it's a great way to go through and navigate this page A700, so those aren't active links. So it's a great way to link up references in a particular document and save a ton of time over manually linking those up yourself. So any questions about batch links? It's pretty self-explanatory once you see it. Really cool tool. It's one of those where if you use it one time and it saves you, a massive amount of time, it's going to pay for the software itself. So the next thing I want to show you is our really cool new measurement enhancements. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this A201 document one more time here. And these measurement enhancements can be found right here in this measurement tab right here. So I always like to calibrate a drawing before I go through and make any kind of measurements to it. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to make that 6'8". Right there, click OK. I'm going to take this measurement of a known distance just to make sure that that calibration is correct. 10'5", perfect. Fantastic. So there are a couple new things in the measurements that I really like to show folks. So the first is the volume area depth measurement. So if we go ahead and click on this square footage here, you can see I'm going to go and change that to feet. So now if we take this area measurement right here. Go to Properties, Show All Measurements. And now we have all these different measurements that we can see right here at a glance. So wall area was taken automatically because we have a wall depth. We have a perimeter measurement, volume measurement, area measurement, a lot of great stuff automatically just taken from one single measurement of area. Another really neat tool is the center out radius measurement tool. So if we go ahead and click on this button right here, center radius, we can now take a measurement of this particular area. So I need that to be 2 feet 5 inches of clearance in order to be an ADA compliant bathroom. As you can see, it's not based on this measurement, so that would need to be remedied in some way. Another great use of this center out radius tool is by, is determining the location of cranes, the necessary location of cranes. So if I have a crane that is 52 feet, for example, we can go ahead and see where exactly we would need that and put that there, for example. If we have another one, go ahead and put that over here. Make sure we don't have any overlapping work. That, of course, can't be inside the building. So there may be some overlap, things like that, but it's a great way to figure out the turn radius of a piece of equipment like that. So we go in here to this other particular document. I'll show you how we can calibrate multiple scales. So down here, as you can see, we have vertical and horizontal scale. I'll click on separate vertical scale. Store scale and page, perfect. I'm going to calibrate this first scale right here to 10 feet. There. I'm going to calibrate the second Y scale to 100. Right there. Great. And now if we want to take a diagonal line measurement with 2 calibrated scales, we can go ahead and click on this button right here, this icon, and now we can take a accurate horizontal measurement right there. Another really neat measurement-oriented new feature is Smart Group. So Smart Group has to do with the markups list down here. So if we're looking down here and we have all of these different baseboard measurements, et cetera, hardwood flooring, et cetera, we have hardwood flooring and resilient flooring. We can go ahead and group these particular items right there into flooring. We can just change the name of that later, but this could just be flooring, for example. And now if we go through, and even though these are grouped, we can go ahead and change different qualities of this item, and it will change in real time. So if we go and change this to linoleum A is less expensive, so it changes the subtotal. And now, so basically, when things are grouped, when items are grouped, because of Smart Groups, you can still edit the properties within them, even though they're grouped. So great for organization, great for keeping track of all your different materials and getting those accurate measurements without having to ungroup an item and things like that. So really useful. Steve, any questions about any of those?
Yes, we got a question about measurements with 3D PDFs. Are you able to take measurements on them?
Great question. So let's go ahead and open up a 3D PDF just to, okay. No, you actually can't take measurements with a 3D PDF currently. There are a variety of reasons why that is, but currently we just don't have the capability to measure for 3D PDFs. Great question.
Yep, you could use the markup tools to add a notation on your 3D PDFs if you know what their dimensions are and you just want to point out to somebody that, hey, this handrail extends, 8 inches beyond the landing, whatever it may be. you can absolutely put those markups on there, but as far as actually being able to do measurements or takeoffs on 3D PDFs, unfortunately, you cannot do that at this time.
All right, great. So that's really all the new features that I wanted to show you today. Looks like we only have about a minute left. Steve and I will hang out here for a bit just to make sure everyone's questions are answered. If you do have any other questions, feel free to contact me. And yeah, thanks so much. I'll go ahead and turn it over to Wendy for now, just so she can add some closing remarks if she likes. But like I said, we'll hang out for a bit, so if you do have questions, feel free to throw those in the chat box and we'll answer those for you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mark and Steve. I went ahead and I should be showing my screen now with our contact information here at the PPI group. And
so it looks like we have a question here. Can you draw an object based off of the PDF scale?
Steve, one second.
When you hear us, okay?
Can you guys hear me now?
I want
to make sure we're not muted so we can...
I think you might have your speakers turned down.
Yep, they're there. Yep. I just saw that.
So great.
Go ahead and address the question, Steve. That'd be great.
Great. Thank you.
All right.
So,
can you draw an object based on the scale? Yeah. So if you have a scale associated with the drawing already taken on the drawing, you can draw an object that has the same properties.
Okay, not sure what happened there. We're getting some interference between, I think, because maybe you guys are too close in the same room or something, and there was some feedback and some echoing. So they were unable to hear the answer to the question, and we're getting just a couple more questions.
Okay, great. The feedback is happening because speakers on my computer, so I just need to turn those off when I reply. So yes, you can.
We're still getting an echo, Mark.
Scale in the document. That's certainly something you can do.
Okay,
so
that still didn't.
How do you let a person have control of the screen view? There are some feet next to their name in Bluebeam Studio. It's a little
feet icon, and if you click on that, it's the follow icon. You can go ahead and follow them as they make markups.
Okay. We'll go ahead and follow up. I wanted to let everybody know that we did record this webcast, and so we'll be making that available to all attendees. If you have somebody, a colleague or somebody else that was unable to attend, or you just kind of want to review it again because maybe there was an interruption in your workspace. So we're going to go ahead and make that available to everybody. Again, on the screen is our contact information. So most of you are already purchasing your Autodesk products from us, so what we want to let you know is that you can now purchase your Bluebeam products from us as well. So contact the representative here at PPI that you would normally work with. If you don't have a representative, you can get in touch with me and I'll certainly make the introduction. So again, I want to thank Mark and Steve. It's a great presentation, a lot of good information, and we'll be following up with everybody. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day.